What's up, everyone? I hope you're having a good day. We're going to be talking about Tonix Pharmaceuticals, currently trading hands at 17 cents. This is not financial advice. Trade and invest at your own risk. But for those of you who watch my videos, and specifically the Tonix Pharmaceuticals video, you know that this was my concern, and this is what I had been warning about, a drop to 17 cents. So this is pretty much where we are now, although I realize we're, just basically right under that 18-cent level at this point. But I do have to tell you, my concern at this point is, especially with the Russia-Ukraine tensions and Biden reporting that he feels that Putin is close to invading Ukraine, that with that being the number one fear in the market, and I won't go into all the other fears in the market if you've watched my other videos, and you're probably aware of it. We're in a very volatile market, but with that being the number one fear, especially for a risky biotech stock, I do have to say, and this is not fear or FUD, but I feel that there's likely going to be some more downward momentum. So I just want to tell you my plan. I am not going to get any more Tonix Pharmaceuticals until 10 cents. So I just want you to know where I'm at and understand that there is a risk for us reaching that level. Now, had the situation played out differently in between Russia and Ukraine, and let's say Putin decided to withdraw his troops, perhaps, once we got down to 17 cents, we would have at least started to see some stability, at least until news of a possible reverse split. Now, I have not heard any news on a reverse split. I will keep a close eye on that and let you know as soon as I hear something. I do feel that a reverse split is likely, but I have not heard anything on that news yet. So I will keep you informed when I do hear something about that. But that's where I'm at on this now. So I guess I'll just keep it moving, and we're going to discuss, the upcoming earnings, probably what to expect from the earnings, and also some other things going on with Tonix Pharmaceuticals. So let's keep it moving. But I do want to say, obviously, if Tonix Pharmaceuticals does do a reverse split, obviously that's going to create more fear and downward momentum. So I just want you to be prepared for that. It's just, it's not going to be good. So let's keep it moving, and we're going to review. So Tonix Pharmaceuticals as of February 18th was down a little over 8% for the day, a little over 1% after hours, down almost 16% for the week, down almost 36% the past month. And I do want to stop here just to show you that even though double bottoms are bullish, especially when you're dealing with a risky biotech stock, and especially in a market such as we are in, especially with these Russia-Ukraine tensions looking like they're going to boil over, I just want you to see here, we were, basically it was looking bullish. It looked like we were forming two double bottoms, but again, look what the stock did. So I'm just pointing this out to show you that, a bullish double bottom or two bullish double bottoms, it's doesn't necessarily indicate that the price is shooting up. There's just a lot of other factors you have to take into account. Down almost 65% the past 3 months, down almost 88% the past year. And when we look at the 5-year chart here, you can see we're down almost 100%. But again, I usually show the 5-year chart here just to give you a bird's eye view and some perspective here. We're going to be reviewing Tonix Pharmaceuticals' history of reverse splits. They have 3 reverse splits in their history. So let's take a look at that, what that looks like, and what we can probably expect for the next reverse split because of that. So Tonix Pharmaceuticals did a 1-for-10 reverse split on March 17, 2017, November 28th, 2018, and November 1st, 2019. So you can see why there's been so much dilution and downward momentum. So we're going to be discussing that a bit more in detail. Now, just for some perspective, I want to show you that had you invested $10,000 in Tonix Pharmaceuticals on May 11th, 2012, and withdrew the money on February 11th, 2022, the price per share was $1,500. The end share price was 21 cents. The total return minus 99.99% at that time. The average annual total return was minus 59.71%. So your ending investment would have been $1.40 out of 9.76 years. So I just want you to be aware. So as I was saying, I just want you to be aware of the risk of the long-term investment here, and that's basically all I'm pointing out. Now, with that being said, I feel that Tonix Pharmaceuticals is reaching a point where they are starting to make advancements, and as you all know, they were added to the NASDAQ Biotech Index. So in my opinion, that has solidified their credibility to a degree. So let's keep it moving. So let's just say Tonix Pharmaceuticals does a 10-for-1 reverse split, and the price is around 20 cents at the time, which I don't believe it will be. I think it will be lower, but we're just going to use this as an example. So your price per share would be $2. And let's just say you had 10,000 shares. So you're now going to have 1,000 shares at $2 per share instead of the 20 cents per share, assuming the price is at 20 cents per share. And again, just to reiterate, I feel at that point the price will be lower if they do a reverse split. Again, I have not confirmed that they're going to yet. So let's say, as an example, your average cost per share is 50 cents and they do a 1-for-10 reverse split. Your average cost will then be $5 per share. But I just want to put it into perspective for you. If they end up doing the reverse split, and let's just say the momentum continued over the next year, let's just say they lost 80%, which at this moment, the stock is down around 88% this year. But again, let's just say, and I don't think this is going to happen, but I'm just giving you some perspective here to say that if that momentum were to continue and the stock lost 80% over the next year without the reverse split, this 4 cents is what you would be looking at. Of course, with the reverse split, you know, your average cost goes up, and it doesn't look quite so bad anymore, because it jacks the stock price up higher. It allows the company to comply with the NASDAQ regulations, and of course, then they don't have to worry about complying for 10 consecutive days straight. But again, I'm just saying, assuming the reverse split is done, and let's say it's at 20 cents and the reverse split is done, 1-for-10 or a 10-for-1. Let me clarify. If the 10-for-1 reverse split is done, so let's say the price is at 20 cents, and so the share price shoots up to $2, and let's say there is an 80% drop over the next year, and your average cost ends up 40%. I was just giving you some perspective. If there wasn't a reverse split done, that the cost would go from the 20 cents to the 4 cents versus the $2 to the 40 cents. Now, with that being said, like I said, I'm not trying to spread fear or FUD. I just want to give everyone an honest perspective with the company's history of reverse splits, and I'm going to be giving you a lot of information I've found out about the company. And again, I will tell you, I am bullish on the company moving forward, but I want to give you all of the information I have so you can make the most informed decision possible. And I do want to tell you, I was not aware of this information when I put out the first Tonix Pharmaceuticals video. Had I been aware of it, then I would have told you, but this information is by Utopia Capital Research, and again, I'm not spreading fear or FUD, but I want to give you all of the information I have and let you make the most informed decision that you can make. So, this is about a red flag they found in Tonix Pharmaceuticals, and it's about their use of paid promotion to tout its shares to prospective investors. And I'm going to try to just sum this up to get it across to you in the most simple, fast way possible. But they basically, what they're saying is they were making use of Zacks small cap research to publish paid for content. And basically what they're saying is they were paying Zacks small cap research to promote them $40,000 a year. And they go on to say, you know, paid promotion is worrying. It's an indication that the company's fundamentals and prospects are not enough to entice potential investors. So again, this is not fear or FUD, and we're going to be talking about some positives, but I just want to give you all the information I have, because at the time when I put out the first video, I was not even aware of all of this information, and had I been, I would have given it to you, but the least I can do is give it to you now that I have it. Now they go on to say the involvement of a few opportunistic investors. Yet another big flag Tonix Pharmaceuticals raises is entities with very interesting track records, and they mentioned the Vulture Fund, Lincoln Park Capital. So I really want to keep it moving, but I want to give you all the opportunity to take screenshots if you'd like. There's really a lot to cover in this video, and I want to take as little of people's time as possible, and also get the point across. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, what I want to do is just get the main points across to you. And they go on to talk about how another interesting investor Tonix Pharmaceuticals has been involved with is Savvy Management, another vulture fund with a quote-unquote impressive track record when it comes to small caps. What they're insinuating is these companies shorting Tonix Pharmaceuticals. So again, very concerning, especially when you go on to read that Savvy has been financing Tonix Pharmaceuticals since early 2015. And if that doesn't create a conflict of interest, then I don't know what does. Because if you have a short selling firm financing your company, that just, you know, as you go on to read here, you know, you'll see where I'm coming from. But again, if a short selling firm is financing your company, my concern is, are you selling out your investors? And again, this is not fear or FUD, but I want to give you all the whole picture. And, you know, again, I encourage you to screenshot this because I'm just trying to get the main points across to you. But, you know, this is an older article, okay? But again, I didn't have this information when I released the first video on Tonix Pharmaceuticals, and if I had, I would have given it to you. But again, the least I can do is share it now. But now, am I gonna panic or freak out and sell my shares in Tonix Pharmaceuticals? No. Again, I'm going to be buying more. I am bullish on the company, so I just want to give you all this information. And if I didn't give you this information, I feel like I would be doing you a disservice. So let's keep it moving here. They go on to say that Tonix Pharmaceuticals. So if you read the top there of the article, because it continues, basically they're letting them have millions of shares for a very cheap price, and then selling them at current market prices. And my concern would be is if short sellers have been financing your company and you've done reverse splits, what type of heads up are they getting that you are going to be causing dilution, and then the short sellers are going to be piling in and getting rich? So I just want you to be aware. I just feel like Seth Lederman is a snake. That being said, I am still bullish on the company at this point, but like I said, I have to get this truth out to you. And yet another dubious institutional shareholder involved with Tonix Pharmaceuticals is Iroquois Capital. So they go on to say that Richard K. Abbey, a co-founder of Iroquois Capital, was accused of a fraudulent scheme to trick the founders of an airport spa business, Express Spa, into a merger with a public microcap company that resulted in a massive loss of their business investment. A federal judge in New York allowed a securities fraud case to go forward against Abbey and other company executives. So, again, I have to let you all know that this company has obviously allowed conflicts of interest to occur. I think it's clear that there has been shady practices, which is why their stock has been beat down so much. It's just a lot of shady business dealings here. So while I am bullish on the company at this point, and I think there is some potential here, I have to tell you the potential risks here, especially looking at a possible another reverse split. So let's keep it moving. In addition, Aegis Capital entered into an underwriting agreement with Tonix on July 16, 2019. Again, like I said, I know this is older news, but again, I still feel like I need to bring this to your attention because I think it's a reflection of the character of the CEO of Tonix Pharmaceuticals, Seth Lederman. So it allowed Aegis Capital to obtain a fair number of shares at a discounted price, meaning that they paid only 48 cents per share. And no stranger to SEC issues, as they were subject to a cease and desist order in March 2018 because they failed to file suspicious activity reports on hundreds of transactions when they knew, suspected, or had reason to suspect that the transaction involved the use of the broker-dealer to facilitate fraudulent activity or had no business apparent lawful purpose. Many of the transactions involved red flags or potential market manipulation, including high trading volume in companies with little or no business activity during a time of simultaneous promotional activity. So again, I think you deserve to know if you are investing your hard-earned money into a company and the CEO has shady business dealings and is a snake. So what I'm trying to do, like I said, just to kind of reiterate, is remain objective. And I know there are YouTubers out there that are plugging stocks they're invested in, like I'm invested in Tonix Pharmaceuticals. But I remain objective because I want to give you the clear facts, and I want you to make an informed decision that is best for you, not what is best for me. I'm not trying to plug the stock. I'm not trying to be extra bullish or extra bearish. I'm just what I'm trying to do is just simply give you the facts so you can make an informed decision. So even though I'm bullish on the stock at this point in terms of their potential, I think you deserve to have this information. So let's keep it moving, and we're going to highlight the red flags in Tonix Pharmaceuticals a little bit more. So the first red flag, promotion. Zacks Small Cap Research was paid $40,000 a year by Tonix Pharmaceuticals in exchange for favorable press. So RSI and volume. Of course, this says yesterday, older article, but again, like I said, these shady business dealings, it's a reflection of the character of the CEO of Tonix Pharmaceuticals, Seth Lederman. And again, I think you deserve to know where you're putting your hard-earned money, who, is the CEO of this, running this company. I think it's relevant. And so let's keep it moving here. The RSI volume, daily trading volume at this time had reached an all-time record of 266 million shares traded, and the share price almost doubled historical price action. Highly volatile with a long-term downtrend, which we've been over. Share issuance dilution, extreme dilution over the last year, of course, at the time, and you've seen they've done 3 reverse splits. Number of outstanding from little over 600,000 pre-reverse split to more than 125 million. And of course, that was at the time. And we're going to go over some more information, but I told you that the whole point of this is just to highlight the character of the CEO, Seth Lederman, not to go over the specific numbers at this moment. So the shareholder lenders, red flag. Several so-called vulture funds, which we've just reviewed, were holding millions of shares, which seem to have been acquired at a fraction of current market prices. So again, it's a huge conflict of interest if you are, here you have shareholders, but you're allowing these vulture funds who fund your business to buy the shares way down here and sell them way up here. And then, I'm just going to say it like it is. You can't tell me he's not giving them a heads up when they're funding his business, when he's about to do a reverse split, and this company has not been heavily shorted, and these shorts don't know what's coming. I will never buy that. So I guess if someone was asking me, what's your point here? I'm not saying you should freak out or sell. I'm not saying anything like that. What I am saying is, like I said, I'm bullish on the company. I think they do have potential, but all I can tell you is my plan. Like I said, I don't know if the reverse split's coming. I believe it is. And it's not financial advice. Trade, invest at your own risk. But all I can tell you is I will be getting more at 10 cents. When the price reaches, at this point, $15, that's when I'm going to sell. As I told you before, this play is going to take patience. I think there's a lot of potential in their pipeline, and maybe some of you want to sell at $2, $3. We're going to be going over a lot more information, so let's keep it moving. Now, again, in an effort to be objective, I'm just going to share this opinion with you, and you can screenshot this, but this has been going on lately as well. Basically, it just points to the dilution and institutional investors, which has been going on lately, buying a lot of shares and then dumping them. So feel free to screenshot this, but there's so much to cover, we really need to keep it moving. So if you want to screenshot and read this, like I said, you can either be bearish or bullish on the company. I'm just giving you the facts and leaving that up to you. I prefer to, like I said, I feel like the company has potential, and I'm going to hold. I'm in long term, and I'm selling at 15, and that's that. Now, we're going to be going over what analysts feel for the next year price target. So if you want to get out that's why I'm giving you this information, so you have it. Maybe you just want to get out. So that's why I'm giving you this info. But all I can tell you is my sentiment, and I think the company does have potential. I also think the CEO, Seth Lederman, is a snake. So I want you to keep that in mind as well. Now, just to tell you a little bit about Utopia Capital Research, because a lot of you may be wondering, well, who are these people anyways? They are basically focused on the short side of trading. So if any of you want to look those up, maybe you're concerned about other stocks, you can see if they have anything to say about other stocks. So, through their years of constant monitoring and trading of the stock market, they basically look for methods of shorting, and just to put it simply, they lean heavily on extensive due diligence and in-depth research and seek to expose potential fraud and criminal activity. And that's what they take great pride in, is protecting people like you and me. And that's why I'm trying to get this information out to you. Again, just to make a point to be objective and give you the facts, whether you like them or not. Now, we're going to change the pace a little bit. So we're going to talk about January 4th, 2022. Yahoo reported what Benzinger reported about Tonix Pharma, Kansas University, to join forces to work on the next generation mRNA-based COVID-19 vaccine. And this exclusive option agreement and research collaboration with Kansas State University is to develop zinc nanoparticle ZNP mRNA vaccines. So I'm not going to go through every bit of this. There's really a lot to cover. So if you want to take a screenshot of this and, just read over it, I just really need to keep it moving. But again, I think Tonix Pharmaceuticals has a lot of potential. I am bullish on Tonix Pharmaceuticals, and as I told you, I'm holding until $15. That's my plan. Now, I would also like a little bit about a new SPAC and Tonix Pharmaceuticals' involvement in that. And that's Genesis Unicorn Capital, a blank check company formed 12 months ago and debuted on Wall Street on Tuesday. And this was reported February 15th, 2022. Now, Genesis Unicorn landed on Wall Street with a $75 million IPO, which was $25 million short of the sponsor's initial goal set forth in the draft registration 9 months ago. The SPAC will begin searching for a biotech or pharma company with a total enterprise value between $200 million and $1 billion. The most recent SPAC tie-up, psychedelic-based drug developer Ulysses, sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right, notched a striker price within that range at $446 million last month. Now, for those of you wondering, what does this have to do with anything? Arrowhead Pharmaceuticals and Tonix Pharmaceuticals board member Adeoye Olukotan, MD, is CEO of the SPAC. He has previously been chief executive of Epigen Pharmaceuticals from 2014 to 2017, vice chair of Cardiovax and chief medical officer of VIA Pharmaceuticals. So if you want to read the rest of this, one of my followers actually asked me to mention this, and so what could this mean for Tonix Pharmaceuticals? I'll be honest with you, I'm not really sure. I just wanted to bring you the news. The only thing I can tell you is obviously, it could raise, quite a bit of money, obviously, but other than that, I really don't know. It seems to me the potential to raise a lot of money, which is obviously a positive. But the point is, there's no indication that money would go into Tonix Pharmaceuticals. So, I just wanted to give you that news, but I don't know. I can't tell you whether this is in terms of for Tonix Pharmaceuticals. I don't think this is necessarily a positive catalyst. So I'll bring you the news. And that's really all I can do at this point, because this is a venture with Arrowhead Pharmaceuticals as well. So I view this as separate from Tonix Pharmaceuticals. So again, someone asked me to cover it, and I'm happy to do that. I just don't see this benefiting Tonix Pharmaceuticals. Maybe to a degree, but not definitively say this is something that is going to benefit Tonix Pharmaceuticals. So again, just to reiterate, I just wanted to bring you the news, because someone did ask me if I'd bring it up, but that's just my viewpoint on it. Now, could the CEO, will he take some of this money and put it in Tonix Pharmaceuticals? Perhaps. How successful will they be? I mean, all that is yet to be seen, but I really don't want to speculate on any of that, because I want to focus on just bringing you the facts, and or at least what I foresee as the most likely scenarios based on historical likelihoods. Now, for what it's worth, Daniel Goodman is not to stand for re-election at Tonix Pharmaceuticals Holding Corp's 22nd annual meeting of stockholders, announced February 18th, 2022. Now, from February 8th, 2022, long COVID-19, Tonix reveals phase 2 trial design plans. I wanted to bring this to you all as well, because I haven't done a Tonix Pharmaceuticals video in a while. The biotech plans to study its fibromyalgia asset in long COVID-19 due to overlaps in symptoms. So, this trial will start in the first half of the year, according to CEO Seth Lederman. And this trial will investigate its trimodal receptor antagonist TNX102, which is also in development for fibromyalgia and other sleep-related disorders. The phase 2 will likely run for 14 weeks, comparing daily doses of sublingual TNX102 with placebo. Tonix typically runs studies with 400 to 500 patients, although the biotech has not finalized the long COVID-19 trial size, Lederman notes. Now, we're just going to kind of highlight this information because, as I said, there is a lot to cover. But basically, the exact endpoint for the long COVID-19 trial will depend on ongoing discussions with the FDA, according to what CEO Seth Lederman says. The agency has not released any standardized guidance on long COVID-19 trial endpoints, he says. The trial will target approximately 2/3 of long COVID-19 patients whose symptom profiles are consistent with the idiopathic condition fibromyalgia, Lederman notes. And he goes on to explain the symptoms there that overlap include fatigue, body pain, sleep problems, and brain fog. TNX102 primarily targets sleep improvement, which could translate to overall improvement in other facets of fibromyalgia and long COVID-19. Lederman explains, nobody really knows what causes fibromyalgia, but for years people have speculated that it might be a post-viral syndrome. He adds, our view on long COVID-19 is that it is either related to fibromyalgia or that it may be a form of fibromyalgia. Lederman goes on to say, I'm pretty confident that we'll reach an agreement with the FDA on endpoints before the data unblinding. It's just a question of how the FDA will want us to score it. TNX102 is an antagonist of 3 receptors, the serotonin 2A receptor, alpha 1 adrenergic receptor, and the H1 histamine receptor. Targeting serotonin 2A could increase slow wave sleep, while targeting alpha 1 adrenergic could reduce sleep disturbances. Meanwhile, zeroing in on histamine 1 may decrease wakefulness. TNX102 is also under development for post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, agitation and Alzheimer's disease, and alcohol use disorder. And I just wanted to show you a list of other companies that are working on treatments for long COVID-19. So as you can see here, we have the events, the phase 2 completion with the approximate dates here, the company, the drug, the mechanism, and the COVID-19 symptoms. So if you want to check that out, that's just food for thought. Now let's talk a little bit about what we anticipate from Tonix Pharmaceuticals earnings on March 14th. Brokerages anticipate Tonix Pharmaceuticals will post earnings of minus 6 cents per share. The highest EPS estimate is 5 cents. I'm sorry, negative 5 cents. And the lowest is negative 7 cents. Tonix Pharmaceuticals reported earnings of negative 10 cents per share during the same quarter last year, which would indicate a positive year-over-year growth rate of 40%. The company is expected to report its next earnings results on Monday, March 14th. I'm not sure why that says the 21st, because I have March 14th, so I can only guess the date changed since. On average, analysts expect that Tonix Pharmaceuticals will report full-year earnings of negative 25 cents per share for the current financial year, with EPS estimates ranging from negative 26 cents to 23 cents for the next year. Analysts expect that the company will report earnings of negative 18 cents per share, with EPS estimates ranging from negative 20 cents to negative 16 cents. Zacks Investment Research earnings per share calculations are an average based on a survey of analysts that cover Tonix Pharmaceuticals. So, as you can all see, that just does not look good. So, as far as the earnings per share, the possible upcoming dilution, which I have no news on, it just, and again, this is not financial advice, trade and invest at your own risk, but this does not look good. So we'll see the progress that Tonix Pharmaceuticals makes over the next several months. It's going to take quite a positive catalyst to send the price soaring. So I'll have to get back with you as far as what I feel as far, and I may end up changing my exit point, buying back in. We'll see. But as you can see, this is obviously very weak guidance here. So it's, in other words, it's not looking good. So, that's why I was mentioning before, with or without the 10 for 1 reverse split, it's, could we see what we seen last year as far as the downtrend? So just be careful here, and we're going to keep it moving. And this is what I was mentioning earlier in my warning, which is kind of a historical trend. A number of large investors have recently bought and sold shares of Tonix Pharmaceuticals. Invesco Ltd. lifted its position in Tonix Pharmaceuticals by 23.6% in the third quarter. They now own 105,384 shares, valued at $63,000 after acquiring an additional 20,133 in the last quarter. Royal Bank of Canada acquired a new position in Tonix Pharmaceuticals during the second quarter, worth approximately $25,000. Legal and General Group Place acquired a new position in Tonix in the second quarter, valued at approximately $29,000. Price T. Rowe Associates Incorporated, MD, acquired a new position in Tonix Pharmaceuticals in the second quarter, valued at approximately $29,000. Finally, Citigroup Incorporated increased its position in shares of Tonix Pharmaceuticals by 197.3% during the third quarter. Citigroup Incorporated now owns 46,217 shares of the company stock, worth $28,000 after buying an additional 30,669 shares during the period. 19.36% of the stock is owned by hedge funds and other institutional investors. So basically, it's, to sum it up, they're buying, selling, buying, selling. So they're just taking advantage of the trends, and let's just keep it moving here. Now, shares of Tonix Pharmaceuticals opened at 21 cents on Friday, and obviously the price has since consolidated down to around 17 cents. The stock has a market capitalization of 104.21 million, a PE ratio of minus 72 cents, and a beta of $1.10, or excuse me, a beta of 1.10. Tonix Pharmaceuticals has a 12-month low of 20 cents and a 12-month high of $1.99. The business's 5th-day moving average price is 32 cents, and its 200-day moving average price is 51 cents. And just to clarify, a beta larger than 1.0 means that the fund is more volatile than the benchmark index. Now, with a PE ratio of minus 72%, this would imply that the stock's current value, the share price, is undervalued. And just to give you some perspective, just for a little compare and contrast, and I know this is kind of, it's not, anyways, Octagon's PE ratio is 0. So I'm just comparing it because it's a biopharmaceutical company. Now, there is stark differences between the companies. I'm just kind of trying to give you just an idea. Now, if you look at something larger, like let's say Apple, 23.92, and again, that's Apple's PE ratio. So I'm just kind of giving you an idea of what that means, and if you want to do a little research and kind of understand what PE ratio and beta means, that's probably a good. But when I say that Tonix Pharmaceuticals shares are undervalued, Tonix Pharmaceuticals fair value estimate is about 32 cents. So Tonix Pharmaceuticals shares are worth about double what they are trading for. So what we're talking about is the shares being worth, the 50-day move is moving average price. So, that's just something to keep in mind there. So that's about all we're going to discuss on there. But again, based on metrics, the fair value estimate is about 32 cents. So the shares are worth about double what they're currently trading for. So just keep that in mind, but we're going to keep it moving here. Now, posted on January 26, 2022 by Investors Observer, Tonix Pharmaceuticals stock is lower by, now at the time it was 73.74%, but since that time, Tonix Pharmaceuticals is down 87.67% over the past 12 months. So Investors Observer's proprietary ranking system gives Tonix Pharmaceuticals stock a score of 5 out of a possible 100. That rank is mainly influenced by a fundamental score of 0. Tonix Pharmaceuticals stock has a mean target price of $213. This means analysts expect the stock to rise 717.31% over the next 12 months. Tonix Pharmaceuticals' rank also includes a long-term technical score of 2. The short-term technical score for Tonix Pharmaceuticals is 14. Tonix Pharmaceuticals has an overall score of 5. So let's just kind of look over this and review exactly what this means. So basically what it means is over the next 12 months, analysts with Investors Observer expect Tonix Pharmaceuticals to hit $2.13. So for those of you who are concerned, and this is not financial advice, trading, invest at your own risk, but maybe you want to get out at $2. I don't know if we're looking for sure toward a 10-for-1 reverse split yet, But I don't know exactly what's coming yet as far as potential catalysts. Are we looking at a short squeeze? I'm just giving you all of the facts that I have at this time. And keep in mind that analyst price targets don't include any potential short squeeze based on news coming out during the year. So let's keep it moving. Now we're going to take a look at the short interest in Tonix Pharmaceuticals as of Sunday, February 13th, 2022. The short interest rose by 167.8%. So, obviously, Tonix Pharmaceuticals was the recipient of a significant increase in short interest in the month of January. As of January 31st, there was short interest totaling 23 million shares, an increase of 167.8% from January 15th, total of 8,590,000 shares based on the average daily trading volume of 18,020,000 shares. The days to cover ratio is currently 1.3 days. Renaissance Technologies raised its holdings in shares of Tonix Pharmaceuticals by 77.2% in the fourth quarter. Renaissance Technologies now owns 10,699,831 shares of Tonix Pharmaceuticals, worth $3,827,000 after buying an additional 4,661,167 shares during the period. Charles Schwab Investment Management Incorporated increased its holdings in Tonix Pharmaceuticals by 23.4% during the fourth quarter. Charles Schwab Investment Management now owns 1,087,732 shares of the company's stock, worth $390,000 after purchasing an additional 205,998 shares during the period. Citigroup increased its holdings in Tonix Pharmaceuticals by 178.4% during the fourth quarter. Citigroup now owns 128,650 shares of the company's stock, now worth $46,000 after purchasing an additional 82,433 shares during the period. Alps Advisors purchased a new position in Tonix Pharmaceuticals during the fourth quarter, worth $196,000. Finally, Bank of America Corporation DE increased its holdings in Tonix by 1,292.5% during the fourth quarter. Bank of America Corp. DE now owns 1,629,198 shares of the company's stock, worth $582,000 after purchasing an additional, and I can't read that part right there, it's cut off, but during the period. So recently, institutional sentiment looks bullish, so I like that. And obviously, as the price gets lower, and this is not financial advice, trading, invest at your own risk, but obviously the risk tolerance gets lower, right? So, as the price continues to get lower, I think institutional sentiment will go up. Obviously, the continues to rise, and the question is, could that potentially send us on a short squeeze? I don't have the answer to that question. I'm just posing the question to you. Now, all I can tell you is this, as I said before, when the price reaches 10 cents, assuming it does, I'm buying more. Like I said, I'm bullish on the company. I feel that when they were added to the NASDAQ Biotech Index, that solidified their credibility to a degree. I think they have a lot of promising products in their pipeline. As I said previously, I think this is an investment that's going to take time, but this is just something you have to keep a close eye on the progress. If they do a 10-for-1 reverse split, obviously this is going to create dilution, likely fear, and downward momentum. However, at the point that the company is at now, in terms of making progress, I feel that, as is the case for a lot of companies, when they issue more shares, in general, they feel that those shares are going to be needed as the company continues to grow. Now, one could argue that that's not true in terms of Tonix Pharmaceuticals history, and that's why I've given you so much information to absorb. I know it's a lot to take in, but that's also why I am just sharing you what my plan is with Tonix Pharmaceuticals. So I know it's a lot to think about, and obviously you have to, think about what you're going to do, where you're going to average down, if you're going to average down, where you're going to hold to, if you're going to sell in brackets. But, like I said, I think the company has a lot of potential. I still remain bullish in the medium long term. So that's where I set. And let's keep it moving here. One thing you'll have to do is obviously, keep a watch on the volume. Volume is obviously an indicator of a short squeeze. So if volume starts substantially rising, then you start seeing the RSI rise, the price rise, then, a short squeeze could be possible at some point in the near future. We'll have to keep a close eye on it, but let's keep it moving. And I realize this is going back some, but I just want you all to keep in mind on December 1st, 2021, the FDA cleared the phase 2 study for chronic migraine relief. So, I just want you to keep in mind that this is another study we need to keep an eye on, the TNX 1900. The spray consists of aerosolized oxytocin, which was developed by Tonix Pharmaceuticals. And I'm just going to highlight this information here. An estimated 4 million individuals in the United States suffer from chronic migraines. So they believe that by engaging and stimulating oxytocin receptors in the trigeminal ganglia, TNX 1900 has the potential to help chronic migraine sufferers, Lederman added. TNX 1900 contains magnesium, which potentiates the action of oxytocin at oxytocin receptors in animal models. So the implications are that it will do the same in humans. However, Lederman said he expects the company to commence the study by the end of next year. So remember, he was talking about this in December, so he's talking about commencing the study by the end of this year, 2022. So he added that the organization expressed a desire to develop the spray for patients looking to alleviate pain in the head and facial areas, as well as to address insulin resistance. So, this is just something else I wanted to mention. This will be a positive catalyst for Tonix Pharmaceuticals, but again, this is going to be something else down the road. Now, this was posted by NASDAQ August 1st, 2021, but I want to give you an idea because about Tonix Pharmaceuticals runway, because one thing that's very important when you're dealing with what is still considered an early biotech company is their cash for runway. So it's very important that they have plenty of cash for runway, and they do. So that's something important to realize. It's also important to realize the sentiment going into 2022 and 2023 is going to look and again, I have to say this is not financial advice, trade and invest at your own risk, but the sentiment looking into 2022 and 2023 I think is going to look a lot better for Tonix Pharmaceuticals, and I think you're going to see institutional investors, hedge funds pouring in. And that's why we're going to get in early while the price is very cheap. So in total, the company plans to have 3 programs entering into phase 2 trials by the end of 2021. That means 2022 and 2023 could be easily be better for investors than this year. So investors can be confident that Tonix will survive with just over 164 million in cash and only 36.15 million in research and development expenses in 2020. The company has plenty of runway before it needs to start worrying about liquidity. So the situation with TNX 102 SL is a major setback, but it isn't necessarily indicative of what Tonix will be able to accomplish in the next few years. So again, 2022 and 2023 could easily be better for investors than this year at the time, but that was last year, 2021. So again, I am really bullish on Tonix Pharmaceuticals in the long term. So I just want to recap, because I know I've covered a lot here. It's a lot to absorb. It's a lot to take in. But, I feel that in short, it's first of all, the price at this point is psychological. As I said, the fair value estimate is 32 cents. So we're about 50% of the fair value estimate right now. The shares are undervalued. So just keep that in mind, and maybe that'll make you feel better if you're looking to average down. And, all I can tell you is I'll be going in really heavy at 10 cents. And, it just depends. Like I said, I can't be there until, if it feels like we're not going to 10 cents, maybe I'll go in heavy at 15 cents. But the point is this: I think these prices are going to seem like small potatoes in the next, let's just say, the next year or so. I mean, I'm looking to go in heavy, in the next year, especially year and a half, 2 years. I mean, I'm looking to really cash out and really make a lot of money on these shares. And that's why I said I'm a long-term investor. It's going to take some patience. But like I said, I'm looking to hold until at least $15. So regardless of whether we short squeeze or not, that's my plan. So all I can say is this: remember the value of what you're holding. In my opinion, if you really look into Tonix Pharmaceuticals pipeline, if you believe in their progress like I do, then maybe that'll change the way you feel about it. So anyways, thanks for watching. You all have a great day. Peace.